The BBC morning TV meltdown has been years in the making. BBC Breakfast's Naga Munchetty, one of the corporation's best-paid, most visible faces, is now reportedly under review after a wave of complaints. Viewers say they've had enough. The tone, the interruptions, the icy look that can turn a light segment into a cold shower. Today, we break down exactly why so many people say they don't like Naga, what changed, how it snowballed, and what the BBC has to decide next. If you love straight-talk celebrity and media deep dives with zero fluff, hit follow right now. You'll get every episode, and it helps this channel keep going. Okay, let's get into it. Naga Munchetty isn't a fringe figure. She's breakfast TV front row, delivering headlines, grilling politicians, tossing to the weather, then smiling through a cooking demo at 8:50. That format is a high-wire act. The audience wants two things at once: warmth and authority. When a presenter nails both, they become part of your morning routine. When they miss, even a little, viewers feel it immediately. For Naga, critics say the miss has turned into a habit, and the habit into a brand. You've probably noticed this isn't a one-day Twitter spat. Complaints pile up, clips go viral, articles rehash the same moments, and the BBC is forced to say it's listening. The perception now has momentum that Naga's style, sharp, skeptical, often cool, clashes with what people expect at sunrise. Whether you think that's fair or not, here's what viewers point to, again and again. Let's talk tone. It isn't something you can measure, but you absolutely feel it. Viewers describe a pattern: the clipped laugh, the lingering silence after an answer, the eyebrow that reads as, "I'm over this." Supporters call it dry wit. Detractors call it disdain. And at 6:45 a.m., when people are making school lunches and skimming headlines, that vibe can set the mood for the entire show. Morning TV is a hospitality job as much as a journalism job. You're inviting people in. Critics say Naga, too, often makes them feel pushed out. Next, interviews. Good interviewing means pressing for clarity. But there's a line between forensic and hectoring. Complaints keep circling the same sequence. A guest dodges, Naga presses, the guest dodges again, Naga cuts in quickly, and now the moment feels combative. On hard news shows, confrontation plays fine. On breakfast TV, it can sound like scolding. The result? People remember the presenter's irritation, not the guest's answer. That's not the win you think it is. Here's the killer for a publicly funded broadcaster: impartiality. Over time, even small missteps, a line, a like, a look, invite accusations that a presenter's personal views are leaking on air. It doesn't matter how the internal rulings land, the headlines stick. The audience remembers breach and complaint, not the nuance. So every future eyebrow raise gets read as a signal. That's how trust erodes, not in a scandal, but in a drip. Money matters. When viewers hear highly paid BBC star, their expectations jump. They expect calm, command, and consistency. Every rough edge gets measured against the license fee. Fair or not, it's real. So when the tone grates or an interview goes spiky, people don't just dislike the moment. They resent paying for it. Breakfast TV is a duet. The best pairs radiate an easy kindness. They look like they actually enjoy each other. Critics say that on the sofa, Naga can run cool. The half smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the banter that lands flat. To a viewer, that reads as, "I'd rather be anywhere else," which is awkward when the viewer has chosen to be there with you. 10 seconds is all it takes. A clipped exchange with a minister, a frosty joke after a guest finishes, a sigh heard on a hot mic, and by lunchtime, it's playing on repeat with captions. That's the internet. The best 10 seconds can make a career. The worst 10 can define one. The reel of Naga moments, whether you think it's fair or not, has trained people to expect edge first, empathy second. Viewers want comfort with bite, not bite with scorn. Here's the audience contract in one line. They want comfort with bite. Ask tough questions, but keep your cool. Be curious, not contemptuous. The criticism of Naga is simple. They feel the bite, but not the comfort. They don't want their morning news delivered like a courtroom cross-examination. Save the heat for primetime politics. At breakfast, people want clarity served warm. Once a presenter is labeled problematic, every normal stumble looks like proof. A fast interruption is rude. A tight smile is smug. A searching follow-up is grandstanding. The label feeds the narrative. The narrative drives more complaints. The complaints harden the label. That's the spiral. Breaking it takes deliberate change, visible change. If someone is under review, what's actually happening? Think tone coaching. Think interview cadence. Fewer interjections, longer guest answers, crisper final follow-up. Think social media discipline. The fewer interpret me landmines, the better. And crucially, sofa chemistry. Producers will watch the handovers, headlines to weather, weather back to studio, serious to soft, and ask, does the energy match the moment? If not, fix the gears or change the gearbox. To be fair, not everyone sees a problem. Many viewers like that Naga doesn't simper. They want presenters who hold their ground and refuse to be spun. They argue complaints are the price of asking hard questions, and that accusations of bias magically appear whenever a guest gets uncomfortable. Those points exist, but they don't erase the reality that breakfast audiences judge mainly on feel. If too many say the feel is off, the show has a problem, whatever the intention. Why do people say they don't like Naga Munchetty? Because they feel judged instead of welcomed, interrupted instead of heard, and nudged toward a viewpoint instead of guided to the facts. That's the criticism in one breath. You can disagree. You can be a fan, but you can't ignore the pattern. The BBC clearly isn't. Naga Munchetty is talented, experienced, and tough. None of that is in doubt. The question is whether her current style still fits what breakfast viewers want. Tone isn't a footnote, it's the product. And when the product feels wrong, audiences don't write essays. They change channel. If you want more no-nonsense breakdowns of the media figures shaping your mornings, follow now so you don't miss the next episode. Drop your take. Is this a Naga problem, a BBC problem, or a perception problem? I'm reading everything. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.